Hari Om. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashiva Samharambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Namaskara to all. This is your host Soumya. Welcome to yet another session from Indica Moksha on the account of Global Festival of Oneness. This is a month-long festival on Adi Shankaracharya Bhagavadpada, covering various aspects and topics of Advaita Vedanta. Today's topic is Cultivating Dispassion Amidst the World Full of Attachment by Sri N. Venkatraman ji. Let me introduce the speaker to you. Sri N. Venkatraman ji was born on 26 August 1965. He completed law in 1989 from Madurai Kamaraj University and began practicing the same year under late Mr. C. Natarajan, a senior advocate. He worked under him for 14 years before commencing independent practice in June of 2003. The Madras High Court designated him as senior in the year 2006. Fondly known as NV among the legal fraternity, NVG has completed 31 years of professional practice in the field of indirect taxes, direct taxes, international taxation, and in the last 10 years has been doing extensive work in constitutional law, various regulatory matters, competition law, gas and electricity matters, as well as negotiation and finalization of commercial disputes, farming, settling contracts and arbitration, besides intellectual property laws, and is also involved in matters of substantial public importance such as Sabrimala, Article 360, CAA, child sex abuse, and similar such cases. Besides the Honorable Supreme Court, NVG is also appearing before 23 high courts spreading over various states, various tribunals, that is center and state, advanced ruling authorities and Security Exchange Board of India, and securities appellate tribunals and other forums. Aside from the legal activities, NVG has also been running a Veda Pathshala in his mother's village for the last 17 years, and this Pathshala has produced around 60 full-fledged Yajurveda Pandits, including 16 Ganapatis and 33 Karmapatis. He was recently conferred the title Guru Bhaktamani, a Ubhaya Jagadgurus of Dakshinanaya Sringeri Sharda Peetha. NVG is currently serving as Additional Solicitor General of India. With that introduction, over to you, sir. You will have to unmute yourself, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Mala Sudha Kumbha Vibodha Mudra Vidyavirajat Karavarijata Apara Karunya Sudambura Shimshi Sharadambam Pranatosmi Nityam Shankarupena Marchittam Pankekritamabhudyaya Kinkadhigassa Samaya Shankaracharya Mahashye Prahladavarado Devo Yonusamaparo Harihi Nisummopasagam Nityam Tam Nisumma Gurum Bhaje Shri Satchidananda Shiva Abhinavya Nisimha Bharatya Pitan Yatindran Vidya Nitin Mantra Nitin Sadatma Nishtan Bhaje Manava Shambhurupan Sadatma Dhyana Niratam Vishayebhya Paran Mukam Naumi Shastreshu Nishnatam Chandrasekhara Bharati Vivekinam Mahapragyam Dhairyodhara Kshamanidhim Sada Bhinavu Purvam Tam Vidyatirtha Gurum Bhaje Bharati Karunapatram Bharati Padabhushanam Bharati Padamarudam Bharati Tirthamashriye Vidya Vinaka Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvakyam Vidushekara Bharati. Offer this talk at the lotus feet of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam Jagadguru Srimad Abhinava Vidyatita Mahaswamigal, Mahasannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswamigal, and Sannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Vidushekara Bharati Mahaswamigal. Offer also my humble pranams to my Manasiga Vedanta Guru Jnanananda Bharati Swamigal. Pranams to Astikas, devotees and Sishyas of Advaita. Thanks to Indica, thanks to Nitin and all the organizers for providing this 60 minutes of Smarana on the greatest Mahapurusha this universe has seen ever and may see in future too, Bhagavadpadacharya Shankara. An utterance of that name will fetch so much good to us. If one hears the Anugraha Bhashanam of Shri Mahasannidhanam explaining the Tattvartha of the Ashtottaram of Bhagavadpada Shankara, Acharya would always say, those who have missed reading the Madhavya Shankara Digvijayam, those who have missed reading the various texts, those who have missed hearing the various lectures and speeches on Bhagavadpada Shankara, if you just go through the Ashtottara Satanamavali of Bhagavadpada Shankara, that is good enough. And the least all of us can do as Sishyas of Advaita, as Sishyas of Mahapurusha Bhagavadpada Shankara, we should adapt the system of chanting the Ashtottara of Bhagavadpada Shankara at least once in a day. And there are people who do it thrice a day. So this is elementary of what we can possibly offer to Bhagavadpada Shankara. Placing the forehead at the humble lotus feet of Bhagavadpada Shankara, Indica and Nitin had suggested a very important and interesting dimension. All of us are in the thick of things, and none of us can run away from it. Now, we also have a passion and possibly a determination to pursue Vedanta. So, we are neither in a position to give up our work, nor in a position to pursue Vedantic life fully. So, with this split time and split priorities, how do we develop? Dispassion is Viveka and Vairagya. Is it possible for a modern person, a person living in the current age, to even dream of such a possibility? Is the question. Now, before we dwell into this topic, one must be very clear that Vedanta is our life science, it's a study of our life science, unlike any other field of knowledge. Therefore, as we have a prescribed methodology, a procedure, a discipline, and a system to learn a specified field of knowledge, Vedanta is no exception to that. So there are a set of traditional methods, and there is no point in damning them or meaning them as traditional to say that we should be more contemporary, because life science study doesn't undergo a change in the pattern. This is something which we should understand and then start with the limitations of this topic, which we try to pursue, because we can't give it up also. We can't say, yeah, that we know, but what to do? Do I have a starting point? That's the issue raised for a discussion today. But if we start discussing this issue straight away, there will be a misconception to know that, all right, this looks to be a possible view and this is the possible view. No. This is an inevitable path which all of us will try to go ahead if it finds fit. But there's a larger path, a path so well portrayed. And why do we say that this path, which has remained time immemorial, shall continue to stay on course? Our scriptures give very solid foundational basis for this theory. It says, look here, ultimately, this philosophy rests on two critical pillars. Sanatana Dharma rests on two critical pillars, Satya and Dharma. Now, can we ever attempt to say what was Satya yesterday? Now, scriptures have rewritten it in 2024 to be different Satya. Can Satya and Asatya be swapped? Can Dharma and Adharma swap places? Not possible. There is so much of a monotony. It remains static. But being divine, it remains imperishable. Two, okay, you can't swap Satya with Asatya, Adharma with Dharma. Can you substitute with two other pillars? Not possible. Sanatana Dharma cannot rest on yet another two pillars, distinct and different from Satya and Dharma. Not possible. World cannot find it because it is not human endeavor. Our Dharma is not out of human endeavor. It's God's compassion given to us to progress in our way of life. So when you can't do this, then the path to achieve moksha or the path to become a seeker, moksha is the ultimate destination. Can it be diluted? Can it be replaced? Can it be substituted? Can it be reformed? Not possible. It doesn't work that way. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, the devotees can be classified into four. Those who suffer and come to me with prayers. Those who come to me to become wealthy, rich, prosperous, and enjoy happiness in material life. Those who come to me to pursue, to know who am I actually. And the last, those who actually surrender into my lotus feet and merge with me, and want to merge with me. Now there is a difference between the first three and the last. For the first three, God is only a means and not the end. For a man who is in pain, relief is his end and not God. For a man who wants to be happy, happiness is his end and not God. For a man who wants to know about me, knowing me is his objective and not attaining me. Whereas for somebody who wants to attain me, I am the means, I am the tool, and I am the destination, says Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So, this is the last segment is what should be the objective of a human birth, technically speaking. But we are confounded with our karmas, our prarabdhas, our pratams, our punya, our papa, so many combinations. And therefore, the way to reach or attain our self-realization is very authentic. The capacity of a Shishya should be fourfold, says our scriptures. Viveka, Vairagya, Samadama, and Mumuksha. Unless we have these four attributes, a guru will not be interested to impart this scarce, unique knowledge which will emancipate us. This is a criteria for a guru to impart. Now, all over the world, we hear, we speak, we discuss, we read, we have books, we have videos. It is the greatest service done to Advaita by whoever it is, including Indica. It's the greatest service of contributing enormous wealth of knowledge into this field. But for somebody to attain or reach salvation, any amount of acquisition will help you, give you confidence, all that is fine. But for you to cross over samsara, you cannot do it unless it is imparted through a Guru Mukham. It is an indispensable, irreplaceable requirement. And who is a Guru? One who is a realized soul, and one capable therefore of making his Shishya a realized soul. So, Sishyas have certain attributes. The Guru has a particular attribute. And it is that Guru, an emancipated soul, a jivanmukta, who can, or a mukta, who can emancipate a Sishya. It has to come Gurumukham. The last, so out of the four Sishya, four categories of devotees, the last category of the devotee to him means ends, tools, destination, goals. Everything is nothing but attaining God, becoming Brahman. So, when this process is tough, complex, hard to pursue, Mahasannidhanam repeatedly had said in the Anugraha Bhashanam, see, you don't have to be a Garuda to run, to fly fast across the sky. Start as an ant. And Acharya says, why ant? Because ant has the capacity, once it starts to move, then it can keep moving any distance. And therefore, these procedures are prescribed. So start moving somewhere so that at some point of time it will mature. If not in this birth, at some point of time, because it's a continuity. Now what are we asking? All this is understandable, no problem. But this is not practical in a modern life. Please give us something which is workable, because we still want to pursue that path. And all of you are interested to know this only because so many people have invested their resources and time in imparting, in sharing this knowledge widely to all of us. And therefore, let's remain very grateful to all of them. See, getting the idea of dispassion in the midst of a work. Why should one get dispassion? That's the first question. Bhagavan Krishna says, if you get vairagya, a sense of detachment, there has to be a phala for acquisition of this vairagya. We can't say, we will get vairagya. Okay, what if I get it? That will be the question. There has to be a phala for vairagya. And therefore the Lord says, one who has vairagya, he will be able to witness his moha. You will see through your moha. That's the first gift God gives you for acquiring this rich virtue. And once you are able to witness the moha, you can allow it to pass. The second the second auxiliary benefit you get out of this is we will become less and less anxious in life. Two great virtues out of Vairagya. If you are not anxious about something, then you have control over something else. You feel attached to it. Therefore, how to develop dispassion in the midst of our work is the question. There are two ways of doing our work. It's very clear, and it's up to us to take a call. One can do the work filled with desires and keep filling the bag with more and more desires, more and more ambitions, more and more goals. Pursue the path of competition. Pursue the path of pulling down anybody who is an impediment. And the destination is not good life or correct life. The destination is a successful life. That's the difference. If you want a successful life, you want a good life, or a correct life is a call which we have to take. Nobody else will take for us. So, successful life will always be driven by desires. Whereas a good life or a correct life is led with a sense of discharging one's duty. That's the starting point. So, why do we say? What is so different between a desireful life and a dutiful life? It has an ocean of a difference. They are not just akin, they are completely dissimilar. Because the outputs they produce are opposite to each other. What will we do if we pursue the life filled with desire? So, we will drive it somehow to make it happen. That'll be the first effort we'll make, because we have a desire, we want to reach a destination, and therefore we will work our way towards that destination. Unmindful of the path of progress which we make. Because if desire has to somehow get fulfilled, it has to produce that result. This is the target, this target has to be achieved. Then at some point of time, we may become unmindful of the path of progress. And therefore, the first two casualties of a pursuit of desires could be, not necessarily always, but could be, is Satya and Dharma. If our path of desire oversteps Satya and Dharma, then we are going exactly the opposite direction to dispassion. Any amount of reading is not going to help. Any amount of appreciating. See, watching a cricket match is okay. We don't have to go and play. So watching is fine. Listening to a music concert is fine, because we are not going to sit and sing. Somebody is going to sing and we are going to listen. Whereas life science is not that. You are taught, all of us are taught for us to become that. That is the difference. So that is the difference between the third Sishya and the fourth Sishya of Lord Krishna. Third Sishya stops with understanding what God is. It's the fourth devotee who wants to become him and pursue that path. So, if these are things which you can monitor when you do your work. If our desires oversteps, shadows, eclipses or emasculates Satya and Dharma in whatever form, mildest form to the greatest form, then that will not be a road to dispassion. Second, we pursue desires, no doubt. And what if they don't get fulfilled? Not necessarily all human goals should result in a particular output or result or a desired success. So there is always a probability to fail. So a desireful pursuit leading to failures will result in human anger, which is dangerous. We will therefore be far away from dispassion. Now, where does this anger further lead us into? Since we have failed, we will start looking at others who have succeeded. And therefore, we will start feeling jealous. And this constant negative impact on us, if it has human interference or interferences which are visible to us, who had possibly impeded into our path of success based on our desires, we will start to hate them. So, how do we acquire dispassion then? So, a desireful life, if it doesn't materialize, these are the 3-4 consequences: anger, jealousy, hatred. And where do we finally arrive at? We will start to conclude, look here, I had a desire, I worked for it, it didn't materialize, and therefore injustice has been caused to me. That's where we draw an inference. Is it not? So we feel world which is full of opportunities, flooded with so many priorities and occurrences and happenings, has denied us to make one more occurrence happen. And having failed, the world has rendered injustice to us. If we reach that state of mind, then we may do anything which is unacceptable, starting from wreaking vengeance to anything. Now tell us, what is wrong if I have desires? What is wrong if I pursue desires, failure is part of life. So what is wrong if I course correct it? Come what may, to ensure that I finally reach a successful life. Nobody stops you. This talk is not a talk on how to stop. No, that's not our job. That's your job. You want to take it or leave it. The question is, look here, I have a tapa. I have also a desire to use my human birth in a righteous way. So how do I do it? It is for those these steps are being conveyed. Not for people. Otherwise, we'll be looking at mad people. Who are you to advise? We are not advising anybody. If you want, then this is not the path you can pursue. In fact, Mahasannidhanam used to say in the Anugraha Vaishnavas, people see the way all of us are and how he puts it and perceives it. Look here, all of you are doing some work. You are occupied in some field of life. All of you come and listen to my Anugraha Vaishnavas also. Listen to my Vedantic lectures also. You also clap at the end of it, whether you understood it or not. Feel very happy about it, and you feel really this is something which we should do. But the final request is, all this is fine. We want moksha, but we are not ready to give up whatever we are doing now. We will continue to do whatever we do, but please tell us a way to attain moksha, including the fact, if possibly, if we can offer a donation, we are ready to offer a donation if moksha is assured to us. So, in spite of listening to all this, this is the attitude we carry in us. It's a matter of concern. If you want to do research and doctorate in a field, can you get it by offering some money? Donation to any university? Will any university give you a doctorate? No, they won't. That is acceptable to us. Because that is material science. Whereas life science, oh come on, God has to be compassionate. He should just magic wand, he should give us moksha. Doesn't happen. Therefore, the requirement is, if you pursue the path of desire, you will ultimately end blaming the world to be a place of injustice in case you fail more and succeed less. And even that virakti, that disappointment is not going to change us. One out of millions may change, but not the rest. The rest will try to aggressively go back and fight the system. Therefore, if you want to pursue the path of Vedanta, in spite of doing your regular work, the second option given to you is, can you perform the same work as a duty? That's the difference. Desire leads to karma bandha. It is a rope which will tighten us more and more and more and more. Whereas duty leads us to karma yoga. It will start unwinding the rope layer after layer after layer. Same work. Whatever we are doing today, whatever we've been doing yesterday, if we are ready to change to this path today, well and good, welcome. Same one. Because Bhagavan says, nobody can be without action till he attains salvation. Till mind gets fully dissolved, nobody can be without action. The question is, how do you pursue the action, the path of action? So, what do you mean by doing a work as duty. See, the first step which one would take or one would become visible of is a dutiful path will focus more on the work to be performed than on the outcome. Expectations on the outcome will be far less than the focus on the work which one does. This is the difference between a desireful life and a dutiful life. Desire, it's not the means or the way or the effort, it's the ultimate outcome that matters. Duty is exactly the opposite. It is something which enables you to focus on your work without expectations. Because what is destined will happen. See, what is destined for us, nobody can stop it. What is not destined for us, nobody can give it. You can put a question. There are people who struggle hard to somehow get it. Yes. The stories of every Ashura is only about that. An unnatural, aggressive, belligerent pursuit to somehow get what you want. Asanidanam has said that in Anugraha Bhashnam. If you aspire for something and work towards it, God will someday give it to you, whether you want it or not, because you aspired for it. And you worked for it, good or bad. But what you are not entitled to, if you have got it, then it becomes a liability to you. It will start to hit your own life after securing it. This is the story of every Ashura. After doing thousands and thousands of days of tapas and getting boons, they destroy themselves. Therefore, a dutiful work does not result in any aberrations because the expectation levels are very low. So what happens as a consequence? In a desireful life, there is a possibility to overstep Satya and Dharma. Whereas in a dutiful life, one will pursue the path of Satya and Dharma. Because attention and focus is more to the work than to the result. See, this is not theory. Absolutely not theory. We can see all these types of people in the world every day. And see for them how happy they are. For this speaker, his source of inspiration for a karma yogi is his barber. The man who had ironed his clothes for 40 long years. Same job from morning till evening. But the smiling face which invites you, the smile which the iron clothes are delivered to you. Same job, no promotion, no huge increase in salary, no out-of-the-box material success or material acquisitions. But 40 years, 50 years, they go on and on and on and on and lead a very happy and contented life. Don't we see such people in our lives? Are we ready to pin that path? Is the question. So, a dutiful life leads you, makes you proximate to Satya and Dharma. Life is filled now with love. One who performs duty will be loved. You can take anybody. See, you will have how many cinemas we have seen. The office attendant who is an unimportant, irrelevant, unnecessary character will invite the love of everybody in any film. So, People who perform duties are loved. Exact inverse. Once you are loved for performing your duty, we are bound to become compassionate in life. No anger, no hatred, no jealousy, no vengeance, no vindictiveness. Oh, what a life it should be for us. Why compassion is so important? Mata is called Avyaja Karunamurti, ocean of compassion. Why? Dharma can sprout only when there is compassion. It always spouts through compassion. Why do we say, see, in human forms, two people are worshipped eternally. The Guru, a Guru who is a mukta, not all Gurus, one who has realized. Similarly, every mother. Because these are the two sources of compassion we can see visibly in life. We can't find it in anybody else. The only difference is mother's compassion is bound to her children. She may not be as compassionate to others. The compassion which flows to her children is so spontaneous, whereas a guru's compassion is an ever-flowing ocean. It has no choice. Whoever can receive it can receive it. So, duty leads us to love, leads us to become compassionate, reduces our expectations. And this is exactly what Bhagavan Krishna says. Look here. If dispassion and detachment comes to your life as qualities, you will start to witness moha and allow it to pass. And you won't be anxious about your life. Doing our work as duty. This is, you may be wondering this. See, in serving the government for the last 4 years, see this in bureaucracy in big time. There are several karma yogis within the government. Government is such a big machinery. And you can't expect it support every time for every of your actions. But a karma yogi drafts his path, keeps working in his own pace like an ant. And the systems starts, a system like a government which is so huge, spots you as a karma yogi and drafts you into jobs of primary importance and sensitivity. That's the reward God gives for our performance of duty. See, what you do, desire moves out of ego. Duty moves out of divine grace. These are the wheels on which they move. So a desireful life driven by ego, you are in charge, you are the master. Whereas a dutiful life, God owns your work because you are performing his duty. Sun rises in the east and sets in the west every day without fail because that order of dharma is controlled by God. And sun is ready to align and surrender to God, the Supreme Brahman, and doesn't retaliate, doesn't apply its own mind. Why not I one day raise from north? Doesn't choose its discretion. So duty performed will be rewarded in its own way. We should have that faith. We think we have to take control of ourselves, we have to manage our lives, and we have to get the outputs. All right, best of luck. No, God has drafted us into this task. We have to pursue this task because it's God's task. We have been put into this. So let us pursue it diligently. Do it to the best of our ability, without ego, but as a duty. God will make it work, happen. It's God's job. Destination is God's will. And we will become dispassionate in the process. See, in case we choose to follow the path of duty, we may have to go through the following experiences also. There may be occasions where desires will come into our life and distract us, impede into our progress. And please remember, this is a test given by God to us. If we resist and continue to perform our duty, that's the first sign or symptom that, look here, we are able to desist a desireful pursuit and streamline our path into a dutiful obligation. You're past the test. One of the yet another indicator would be a desireful life. One will never live in the present and enjoy it. They will keep crisscrossing their lives between the past experience and the future probabilities. Is it not? They will never live in the present and enjoy it. And what is available to us is only the present. Past is gone. We can't recreate it. Future is not in our hands. It has to happen. So what is available with us is the only present. What will a desireful life mean? They will keep tracking down their past experiences and keep worrying about the future concerns. It is so inherent to a person who pursues the path of desire. And therefore, it will be a life gripped with fear in spite of so much of success. Life with fear. Because who can get rid of fear? One who is very proximate to the present and focuses on the task on hand will not have fear. Because there is no future expectation. God has taken care of yesterday, God will take care of us today, God will take care of us tomorrow. So, if our fears, see, dispassion leads to all this. It takes away anxiety, it takes away moha, it takes away fear. And yet another possibility is when occasionally God opens this window to us. See, God is the most compassionate friend you can ever see. You should have the faith. Sometimes you sit and ruminate for a second. Oh my God, it's so peaceful. Can't this not extend in our lives? Have you not gone through this process? A person who performs a duty who works in a very beautiful way. Now and then God will give this glimpse of peace. Say, look here, watch. This is what you will get eternally. Keep doing, one day I'll give you that. It's an assurance. A mother assuring a child with a lollipop. It will give us a sense of peace. Very rarely it would come, but it would come because that's God's way of shaping us or supporting us or building confidence in us that you are on the right path. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm there with you. So, dispassion in the thick of your work, whoever you may be, whatever you may be, it is possible to flip our work culture. See, if you perform duties also, you will set targets. Who said you should not set targets? But aggression, belligerence, not required. In fact, for anger, Mahasannidhanam says, all of you rebuke, all of you get rebuked very quickly. But scriptures, Vedas say, see, why do Mahapurushas remain silent when somebody rebukes? Vedas say, if you show anger or rebuke a Mahan, whatever little sins, if any, in him will migrate to you. Anger, why is it called a papa? It's a dosha because we will start absorbing the negativities of the person against whom we are showing anger. And therefore it is to be discouraged, says our scriptures. A dispassionate person will become a lovable person, and a lovable person will remain a very compassionate person. And if the purpose of life is compassion, oh my God, what a state we will be. Whatever may be our work, whatever may be our achievements. In this ephemeral world, there are millions and billions of people who have achieved before us, and millions and billions of people who will achieve after us. We are a tiny speck in the whole spectrum. And we still claim, I have this, you have this, I have. Keep saying all this. So, dispassion in work is a doable exercise. Let us all pray to Bhagavadpadacharya that he bestows this rich quality in each one of us. See, all of us are ultimately struggling souls. It's technically blind leading the blind. But we speak out of our experiences, some share of their experiences. And there are trained people who speak as exponents because they are well versed in that. That's their life pursuit. They've taken it as a sadhana in their life. And you should be very grateful to all of them for what they are doing to our dharma. And therefore, we should remain very thankful to Indica for arranging this month-long program and inducing a lot of astikas to get into this and listen to such talks, discussions and topics. It has been a great 55 minutes in my life because it is Bhagavadpada Shankara's blessings. Thanks to Indica, Nitin, Soumya and everybody in the team, Srinivas, everybody in the team. And may we conclude this by saying Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam अस्मत् आचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परम्पराम्. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatraman for that wonderful talk on how in this busy life we can cultivate dispassion, and also by giving us some very practical tips in this world full of attachment. And also that the most important takeaway for me also was that chanting of Ashtotra Namavali of Adi Shankaracharya, which I think I will do it henceforth. Thank you for that. Thank you, viewers, for your participation. Please join us for tomorrow's morning session as well from 7 to 8 a.m. Can we have the flyer? The topic for tomorrow's morning session is a Sanskrit talk on Advaita Tattva as enunciated by Brahma Sutra by Dr. Ganesh Ishwar Bhatt. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Shri Guru. Thank you so much to all of you.